Right, that's better. Hey, what's up, guys? Let me get this music down. Right, that's a bit better, I think. Oh. Cool. Yeah, okay, cool, yep. Sweet, okay. I'm on the wrong screen. Bear with me. Let me just get to the right screen. What are we looking at? 1 or 2? Yes, that's the one. Oops. Then you click cancel instead of OK. My bad. Okay, there we go. Excuse me. Cool. We're where we want to be. That's great. Sorry, I've had this song looping for ages, so we shall switch to something else. Alright, so when did I last stream? I think it was yesterday morning, so almost like 2 days ago. But I'm just trying to remember what we kind of went through. I think it was, I probably should have done that before this. I should have had a look, but it's fine. I believe we went through the building of our reusable button, I think was what I was streaming on yesterday. So it was essentially just looking at how I'd actually written my story in Storybook, and how I had set up some controls to allow us to see, like, actually interactively visualize the different states of the button. So you could view the button like you had a control. Actually, you know what? I'll just show you. But I mean, I say that as if like people might not have seen this yet. I mean, if you've seen the previous ones, then you would have seen it. But you know what? Who doesn't love a good recap? We can have a quick look through just to, I mean, it will refresh my memory as well, because I evidently can't remember. Okay, that's the Figma file. Actually, I'll show you this for a bit of context. But I'm I'm just gonna wait, because like Storybook usually just like, oh no, okay, it's coming up on my other screen. That's fine then. What I'll do is just jump into Figma. Oh, okay, maybe not. Okay, so just for a quick sort of preview, I still need to add a couple states to this. This I'll probably do. I need to find time to do this. It's been a pretty busy week already, and it's going to continue that way until the weekend. So I don't know when I'm going to get a chance to, but I need to add a couple more states, and there will be like themed states. So these would be the buttons with my theme colors, which are here in the style guide, which are just these. I think I'll just keep it as a primary and secondary, just because, and I did mention before, I haven't completely decided on whether I'm going to have this tertiary color in there. So, but essentially what we're doing with Storybook is we are creating our button. So this button actually is like, it's code now. It's not design. It is code. So we're, I mentioned before, we're using Chakra UI. So we're basically setting our base styles in the Chakra UI theme. Again, I'll go through that in a moment. And then what we're doing is that we're using Storybook to visualize the different states based on different props we give it. So basically what we will have is like, we'll be able to see each one of these states depending on some interactive parameter. And this is where Storybook comes in. So enter Storybook. So basically I've kind of set this up a bit more neater now. So I've got like this style guide right here. So all of this stuff up here, this example, this is just what you get for free basically. It's just a nice way to see how you can like interact with stories. So you've got controls here and stuff, you can put true, false, you can change the color here, all that kind of stuff. I kind of demoed this before, but it's worth going over again. You've also got some stuff up here, and I can notice that it's on dark mode, so I'm going to change it back to light mode. But that's not really going to influence much of our components functionality, because we're using Chakra, as I mentioned. So there's a way that you can mess with the color theme, the color mode. So whether it's light or dark mode in Storybook, but it's definitely not that straightforward. So I'm kind of looking into it right now, and yeah, I might even try and find a way to just programmatically do it to set the components to being like their light or dark mode colors, just for us to see really how they would work. But anyway, this is our button. So this is what we created the other day. I need to get rid of the icon here. So basically, okay. Yeah, so basically, what I did, if I go back to the code, is, let me just get rid of that side. Don't really need that. Okay. So, we've got this button.js. So this is in the theme, and I'll explain how I split the theme up, because it wasn't like this before. This was just all in one file with all these other different files, but I'll explain how and why I split them up. But anyway, that's not important right now. What's important is we have this button object that has a couple of different things on it. So we've got base style, we've got sizes, we've got variants, and we have default props. So essentially what we're doing here is I'm just quickly going to check the chat, because I've taken the chat off here, just for things to be a bit easier. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, we good. All right. Sorry that it's going to keep going light and dark. I haven't sorted out my lighting yet, so I'm just relying on the lighting from my main computer screen. So it's, yeah, if I click on something that has dark mode enabled, or it's a site that just isn't light, then yeah, it's going to keep dipping out. So apologies, I'm still trying to sort that out. But anyways, we have these four things. So base style, sizes, variants, and default props. So essentially what these are, this is like the way that we can make up a component in Chakra. But obviously, like, this is Chakra's own component. So this is just our way of setting our own like default customization, essentially. So it's pretty cool, because what we can then do, and what I have done, is taken everything from this, like, so we're going off this this variant in Figma, and if you don't know what those are, more on that later. But essentially, we're taking this top left. This is like our default button, right? So if I just, I don't know, go somewhere over here, and I go to the assets folder, and okay, so you can see local components. Under components, I've got button. I can just drag that into view, right? So that's our default button. So when we dragged it out, that's our default thing. So what we wanted to do is create something similar with Chakra UI, and then we can preview the different states with Storybook. So essentially, I'm on the wrong page. So essentially, that's what we're doing here, is we're setting all of the style characteristics and style values of this button here, essentially. So that's that. And then if you look on the right side here, oh yeah, we can see that. Okay, great. So you've got medium, you've got small, and then, you know, we've got primary or secondary. We've got different states. We've got disabled states. We've got focus. We've got hover, and we've got like hover for the secondary state. You know, we've got disabled for the secondary state, with an icon for the secondary state, with an icon for the primary state. Like, all of these different variants that, you know, all different states that our button may be in, we've kind of got it all kind of mapped out. And like I mentioned, you know, I've still got more things to add to this. This isn't the full scope of the button states, but I did want to move on, so I kind of had to just put a pause on the design side of things. But you know what? I'm actually just going to turn the chat on here, because oh, it is on. In which case, I'm not sure, actually. Not sure why it's not showing up. Oh, unless it's actually working. Okay, no worries. So, let's get back to this. So basically, in the code. That's all this is really. So the base styles, you know, we're just saying our default font weight, the text transform, border radius, and then we're setting our sizes, so small, medium, large. So on here, how we have like size on the right, small, medium, and large, we're setting that, so it maps very nicely to how we're working here with Figma. So we've also got variants, and that's obviously the part well, I mentioned that we'll look at in Storybook, and then we have default props. So this is essentially, you know, when I said that, you know, if I delete that, when we pull this button in, this is its default kind of look. That's exactly what we're doing with the default props. We're just setting, you know, if we were to bring this button into our UI without doing anything else to it, what's it going to look like? And that's what default props do. So then jumping into Storybook, I've got this button.stories.js file. If you want to sort of get a better idea of how to set up stories and how to write stories and just basics of Storybook really, you can check how I've done this in my previous videos, or feel free obviously to look at the docs. I think the docs are really helpful. It's really straightforward. They kind of take you step by step, and you can follow through it and yeah, quite easily and quite quickly start writing stories. So I would definitely recommend checking out their documentation. So what's going on in the Storybook file is that I've brought in that button. So that button I was talking about, this is the button with its default props. And essentially what I've done here, so there's this kind of boilerplate code that we don't need to worry about right now. Again, like if you look at the docs and go through that, it will help you to understand like what it is. I won't go through it now. But what we can do is we can set some, so they're called args. They're essentially like the props. Yeah, they're essentially props that we put on the button. And what's kind of nice about it is that I've added some extra stuff here. They're just controls that allow us to select different properties of or different options depending on the args we give it. So for variant, right, I've given it its default property as primary, which is fine. But if we go back into this button, to this file, which is essentially our like theme, if we go back into it and we go back to our variants, we actually have more than primary. We've got primary, but we've also got secondary, and we've also got primary themed, and we've got secondary themed. And what's cool is that we can list them here in these options, and what that allows us to do is we can come into Storybook now, and if you see here, it's got variant now, and you can't really see this because the thing's blocking the way. So you can see here that's a select. So we've got a select here, and essentially what we can now do is do primary, we can do secondary, or we can do primary themed, and we can do secondary themed. So it's really cool. It like allows us to see these different states interactively. For some reason as well, and I'm putting it down to Storybook's environment, it's it's not portraying the desired behavior. No, the expected behavior. What we would expect actually is that this is purple because, well, I mean, this is light, right? This is light mode, and obviously this is dark mode. So this is obviously what it should look like on dark mode. So that's fine. But of course, on light mode, like that's fine. This isn't. This is inaccessible because of the color contrast. But yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there. That should be like, this should be purple essentially, and then when it goes to dark mode, it should be this teal color. So I'm figuring out how to get some synchronicity between the Storybook and Chakra's sort of theme, like dark mode theme. And I've kind of figured the easiest way to do that would probably be to find a way to integrate Chakra's color mode, like light and dark mode, into Storybook. And I was having a look earlier, and yeah, I think someone's found a solution, but then that came with its own kind of problems. So it will be a bit of testing out, but I just wanted to kind of push forward with things and didn't want to do too many things that can get me into a mess on the stream, because that's kind of happened a little bit in the past few streams where I found myself getting into A bit of a mess with things, but it's all good. It's all a learning process. So, right. So, let me just make sure that I'm checking as a chat. Yeah, we're good. We're good. What I'm going to do actually is just do that. Or actually, better still. No, that'll do. Nice. We got the chat. Okay. So, sorry, bear with me just a moment. So, that's where we're at right now. We're just messing with this kind of buttons. We've got different sizes: small, medium, large. I've shown you the variants and stuff. So you can go back to primary. We can look at whether it's active. So being set is active to true, and that's just done by creating some controls that are Boolean types. So we can set types as well, which is really cool. So as I mentioned before, we had that other one that was a select. You can select set radio values, and then obviously you can do Booleans. You can do quite a couple of things with the types. There is more on that in the documentation. I think probably in the control section, it shows you the different types that you can have. So that's cool. But yeah, we've just set some true or false things. So that's all that is happening here. So it is active, true, false. It's disabled, true, false. So that's pretty cool. But as I mentioned before, you know, in terms of testing things, so we've got this accessibility add-on. This is another aspect of Storybook. They've got add-ons, which I think are just really, really cool. And basically it allows you just to obviously have some like extended functionality in different areas, one of them being accessibility. So they've got a pretty cool accessibility add-on, which and I said last time, I kind of have a feeling it uses Axe under the hood, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But what's nice about it is that it shows you, you know, what's passing. It shows you if there's any violations or any incomplete things. Any incomplete checks and stuff like that. And it's really nice because obviously you kind of get this feedback immediately. So what's really nice about this is, you can essentially, and this is how we're doing it right now anyway, we're building up our UI without actually having anything like in development or like even in production. Like Storybooks is its own separate environment. So we're kind of like building behind the scenes, but as we're building, we're checking, and we can actually check and make sure and check in real time, if our components are accessible. And what's nice about this is because we're building these components in isolation, like we can be sure at that, in like that sort of smallest atomic level, that we are, getting these passes. And of course, it's always good to note that, this isn't kind of like the be all and end all of accessibility testing. It's like, if you're getting all passes, it doesn't mean that like your entire site is accessible. Of course, there's more that can be done. It's always dependent on the context of what you're building, of what you're working on, different tools that you use, like so many things. So, but this is obviously a good place to start, and it's a good place to catch low-hanging fruit. Is to use these accessibility add-ons, plugins, testing software. So this is really cool, and we can go back to our controls, and let's go to primary theme. Like I mentioned before, this is obviously inaccessible because of the color contrast. So we can go and check that. You can see we've got a violation now. Ensures, and it tells you exactly like what it is. It tells you what like the passing thing should be, and then if you open it up, then it tells you. It goes more specific, and it tells you like the values that you have that are insufficient. Like it's very much in depth. It tells you the expected contrast, which is very helpful, because what you can then do is you can come back, and let's just say this was that color. So I'm actually going to go here and change it to that color. And what you can then do is I'm just going to put like a little box around this. It's my attempt of drawing a square box. I always forget that you can just hold shift and excuse me, and let's grab that button and put it on top of here. Okay, it's probably a different way I could have gone around that, but it's cool. And let's just put him in the center, and let's get rid of. So what was it? I think it was like F8, 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 something like that. So what we can actually do now is that we can click on like both of these elements. You know, so let's say you actually had that as your like one of your design tokens. You know, this is one of your colors that you had decided on, and you realize, okay, it's not accessible. You can come back to Figma. You can run like the start plugin over it. I mean, there's a bunch of other contrast checkers that you can run over it. Too many layers to run. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, probably not the best thing to run against. Yeah, we have to go far down. Don't ask me why my button is so complex. I actually use Chakras. I don't know if it's their official one, but there was like a component library that was made. So you have like, I don't know why it has that horrible drop shadow effect. So you have these different libraries that you can use, that you can like publish. I think it's if you're on the pro plan, which I am, so you can publish them for like other people to use. And Chakra, I don't know if it was actually Chakra UI directly, or if someone else made one. Oh, that's massive. But anyway, yeah, the point was is that you can kind of go back and you can like maybe select these two, and you can run stock over it. You can run a contrast check, and it tells you, oh god, it's inaccessible. And then you can like adjust kind of thing. So it can kind of like, if you have a workflow like that, this is really helpful for that. You know, it can show you the exact hex codes, like the hex values. It can tell you the expected ratio and like the current ratio. So great add-on, great tool. But obviously what I was saying before in the last one was the slight issue with this is that in order to do these accessibility checks, we have to like go and change each one. We have to find, okay, that's passing, cool, so let me go and check the next one. And you know, it's kind of a way that makes it easy to maybe miss certain states, or like, you know, you overlook certain things and you forget to check things. So you know, and I think for the sake of actually visually documenting the components that you have in your library, like to use for your UI, it kind of makes more sense to actually have these listed out separately. So right now, you know, this entire button and all of its states exist in one story, but I think a better way to write it out, and this is just my personal opinion, of course, but I feel like a better way to write it out is actually to split these up. So, you know, yes, we'll end up with quite, you know, a few states, quite a fair amount of states, but, you know, it makes it a lot more explicit as to what each state is. It makes it easier to test, because when it comes to testing, you know, it'll be running tests over each of those states, and yeah, and I think it's just a bit more of an easier way to test accessibility as well. So I also mentioned last time that I'm not gonna do that now, because there's a couple of things, yeah, we need to catch up on that I was working on that. Yeah, I need to kind of explain what I've done basically. So we'll take a look back into the code. So basically the first thing I did was refactor the theme, and it might just be worth visiting my GitHub for this. Bear with me. I'm just trying to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Do I need these? Probably not. Right. So, right. Bear with me, I'm just finding some code that was here before. Okay, styles and yeah, theme. Cool. Yeah, that's it. So just give me a moment. Wrong file. So basically, don't know if you can see that clearly, but this is kind of what the theme looked like before. Maybe I'll just zoom in on that. So basically we had like const theme equals extend theme. It's completely fine to do it this way, by the way. You know, and the Chakra guys do say, you know, you can do it. You can essentially do it in whatever way you want. You can break this up and compose it any way you wish. And in terms of actually setting up the theme, essentially customizing the theme, you just use this extend theme function, which takes in an object of all of the things that you wish to extend, and then it basically like brings those into the existing theme so that you can use the values on the existing theme, but then you have like the overridden values are also there, which is really nice, because for me personally there are, you know, a lot of things in Chakra that I, you know, I'm more than happy to use and I like to use. But for me, the overrides are just where, you know, this is where the decisions about the style guide and the colors and the fonts and text styles and a few other opinions have come in, and where I just want to override that. But everything else I can still use, which is nice. But anyway, this theme, so yeah, it's a function that takes in this object, and in this object we've got styles, we've got components, we have, if we keep going down, we've got colors, we've got fonts, and we've got the config. So essentially all of these different things are just different parts of the theme. So as I mentioned before, we had that button file, you know, they were all in here before. That's all this is. We've got our colors, and this is all of the additional colors that I'm bringing in based on my style guide. And then we've just setting some fonts here and just some config stuff. But you know, so you can already see that this is starting to get a bit, you know, like lengthy, and this isn't even the full theme yet. So there's still quite a couple of things that we need to take care of. And this was recommended actually by Chakra UI, the team at Chakra UI, was essentially the better practice is to have a theme folder, which we already had, but we just had an index.js, right? So what the proposed idea is to split up the different concerns. So as you can see here, actually now we just have, so this is that same file, it's just obviously a lot smaller. So instead what we've done is that we actually created an object called overrides, which takes in all of the different customizations of different parts of the theme, but we split up those into their own concerns. So we've got styles, which is, you know, global styles, and we've got colors, we've got fonts, we've got text styles. And fonts and text styles, they come from the same come from the same file, because obviously, yeah, it's kind of just essentially this, yeah, similar thing. So kind of makes sense to not split them up. So they come from this typography file. So that's another thing as well. Like, you know, where it makes sense to keep things together, just keep them together. If they're like, because, you know, this isn't, you know, this font, this is only 4 lines of code. It's fine, you know, to add that onto this. And yeah, as you can see, we've got these text styles, which I haven't run through yet. So that's kind of the next thing. But yeah, we've got our colors as well. So they're sitting there nicely. Our global styles, and we've added the config to that. There was, I don't know what it was. I'm not sure what it is. But there's an issue sometimes that, well, an issue I was facing yesterday and this morning, where basically I was trying to use this config to, and all this config is doing right now is just ensuring that our initial color mode is light. So it's just persisting that, and it's not using the system color mode. So sometimes you'll see on sites, you'll have light, dark mode, and system as options. System just means it's going to take whatever you've put in your system. So if like on Windows, because on Windows, as you can probably, oh no, you can't see the bottom of my thing, but on Windows, I've got my theme set to dark mode. So if that was true, then it would set it to dark mode regardless of whatever your mode is, or your initial color mode, basically. So yeah, there's some issues I was facing putting this in the index.js, because that's kind of where I logically thought it might fit, but yeah, it didn't really work out there. So I tried it in the styles, folder, and it seemed to be okay here, so I'm just leaving it there for now. So yeah, we've got our buttons. So yeah, that's basically how I split up the theme. That's the main sort of breadth of the work I've been doing anyway. And so essentially what's next is to finish setting up the typography styles. And I had my own trouble with this. Basically, we were running into some issues with text styles. So these text styles I am actually just bringing in from, there's just values that I've taken from, as you can see on the right hand side, my global text styles in Figma. So again, it's just this idea of, you know, having this as the single source of truth and just essentially taking the values from here, you know, as they are, and bringing them in. So that's all I did. And obviously we've got desktop and we've got mobile styles. So sorry, wrong place. And so that's what this is. So the base is obviously the smallest media query. So if anyone that doesn't know or knows Chakra well, they've got this really nice like responsive style system where you essentially have breakpoints. They have default breakpoints. You can extend those breakpoints in the same way we extended other things in this theme. I could create like a new file called breakpoints.js, export some custom breakpoints and just add them into the theme here. So it makes it really easy to do that. But I'm happy with their default one, so I'm going to stick with that for now. But essentially what this object is here is basically it's based on the breakpoints. You can do this as an array as well, so that's another way of doing it. That's how I used to do them at first, but I just found sort of greater, I just found it a bit clearer to use the object type. So essentially you have base, you've got small, you've got, is it extra small or small? I think it's base, small, medium, large, extra large. You can obviously extend that if you're hoping to make things more responsive on larger screen sizes. But you know that it typically works just to have those. And essentially this is just me setting these styles. So I have obviously some mobile specific styles and some desktop specific files. They pretty much all of the headings. So it's just taking values from each one and and adding them in. So that's essentially what this is. That's what that was. And so I kind of went through and did that, and then obviously onto the global styles. We didn't have to do that because, well, they're global. So what the issue I was running into though was with this color mode. So essentially, and I'll kind of just show you. I'll give you a demonstration of the issue. So I fixed it with pre-title. But as you can see here, right, so this is the kind of way that you can, you know, manage different colors depending on light and dark mode, which I want to do, of course. But, you know, often, you know, it's a good idea to have different sort of shades. So as you can see in my colors, I've got some different neutrals here. I've got different shades of each color. And again, this is inspired by Chakra's own theme. They do this with their own theme. And what it helps with is just with sort of visual hierarchy. Sometimes different states, so you might want to have a slightly darker shade of a color for your hover states or your disabled states, whatever it is. But also for actually creating like a visual sort of hierarchy with text and like between headings and bodies of text. So I obviously have these neutrals here, and what I was trying to do was to set the color of the body to be like just one of the darker neutral colors, so slightly lighter than our like main sort of dark text color, and then to obviously just have it being lighter on dark mode. And I was running into some trouble. As you can see, I'm just testing primary 500 here. I was just trying to use a color that was definitely like visible because I wasn't sure if it was showing up, but yeah, it just wasn't working. So it turned out it wasn't working and I couldn't figure out why, but I will go through it now because I still need to do this anyway. So if we, what's the best way to do this? I think we can probably, let's try it with Storybook first, and then. So I've obviously shown you the components. Okay, things have gone weird. Are we all good? No, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay, so I've shown you the button. Now let's have a look at the headings. So I've kind of split this up into our components and design tokens, and you can do this in this file here through the naming, not in this file. That's the wrong place. The other components. Okay. You can set this up actually in this export default. So export default is just how you actually export stories so that they show up in Storybook. It needs 2 arguments to actually show up, which is a title and a component. So that the arg types, this is just like additional, so we don't need to worry about that right now. But it needs a title and a component. So obviously the component is the component in question. That's what you pass in. In terms of the title, you can use this like slashes for like this folder system, which we can obviously see. So whatever the top like, or the first sort of word or sentences, I suppose you can have sentences if you want, but whatever the first term or phrase is before the first slash, that's what will be like this top level thing. So as you can see, it comes up with style guide in these bold letters, and then after that you can then split things into folders. So I've split it up into components and design tokens, and so far I've just got text and heading styles. So you can see ignore that. I need to change that actually. Let me find a way to kind of, let's view this. And what's really nice as well is that things are responsive. I don't know why it keeps going into dark mode. Right. And let me just get this, and yeah, that's right. That'll do for now. Okay. So let's change this. Let's fix this. Let's find out what's going wrong. Okay, so you can see down here my text styles, I've got color is red 500. So if I save that, that should change. Okay, I think it's because of my. Have I changed like use system color mode to true by accident? No, I haven't. Okay. I think it just seems to be resetting itself back to dark, which is pretty interesting actually. I mean, don't get me wrong, not against it, but okay, well, that's interesting. Anyway, so let's have a look now at these different headings. So if I click on that, as you can see, we've got the different heading sizes, and it's really nice because you can just get this visual representation of like what your headers are going to look like in the UI. You can test for things like accessibility on these as well. So you can test contrast, you can test the order of the headings are semantically correct. So that's another really nice thing. Yeah, and if you've got ID attributes, you can, you know, ensure that all the ID attributes are unique, like things, yeah, that we'd be concerned with. So it's really nice. We've got subtitle here, we've got pre-title, we've got body light, which doesn't change, and I know the reason why. And small. So yeah, we've got these different text styles, all the text styles that we'll be using, and we can just kind of, and this is what I was talking about with the button, right? Because essentially what we could have done, we could have essentially have had one text component where we actually just, all of these different things, the subtitle, the pre-title, the body light, small, heading 1, 2, 3, 4, we could have actually just allowed like those to be switched between using controls, but this just offers like a more explicit way to view them, and I think it's just kind of nicer just seeing what we have. So yeah, that's just kind of how I find it anyway, just a bit easier. So what were we gonna do? Yeah, so I was gonna explain basically how I'm doing this. It seems to be persisting with dark mode, so I'm just gonna stay with it. That's fine. That's cool. I'm gonna open up this heading.stories.js as well for when we might need that. Okay, so I'm gonna explain how I'm working with this, because it might seem like over abstraction, but I'm going to explain why I've kind of added this added layer of abstraction. So in Chakra UI, you in the theme you have these text styles, and what you can do is that you can compose these different text styles. So as you can see here, I've got one for H1, and essentially all of these objects here, like H1, H2, H3, H4, and so on, these like are essentially identifiers, so that when we're writing the code, you would put text style and then you would put like H1 in quotes, or in quotes, or yeah, whatever, as a string basically. Don't know what I said, in quotes. Yeah, as a string. So you would actually pass these values in as a string, and then you would get, like, on that text object, it would then inherit whatever you've set on here. But I don't think it overrides. I think whatever you have on that text style would override what's in here, I believe, anyway, from when I was working with it yesterday. But obviously this offers a really nice way for you to just pass in some different values and get, so just on one heading component, you can get all these different headings, right? And on one text component, you can get all these different text styles. So that's cool. The issue I was running into was here, as I mentioned, with this props.color mode. So we wanted to like programmatically have the color of the text change depending on whether it was light or dark mode. And I think it's probably an issue that's a bit deeper down. I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. I haven't found out why it's happening. I haven't found a fix for it. I will definitely continue to look into it. But essentially, like, this isn't picking up. It doesn't pick up the color mode maybe. But whenever I tried to kind of change the style, as I mentioned, I tried to put primary 500, which is purple, and that wasn't showing up. So I was like, okay, it's definitely not working. So the workaround I found, which is essentially the added layer of abstraction, is this. So I mentioned before that we have components on our, so if I bring the main theme back up, you can see here we've got components, and obviously we've got our button component with all of its base styles. Well, I thought, okay, well, let's try to do one with like heading and text. I haven't done text yet. We're coming on to that. But with heading, essentially, what we've done is we've created some variants, which acts essentially in the same way that text styles do, which is why I'm saying it's like an added layer of abstraction. So basically, we've got these variants that it's exactly the same, because if we look down here, you've got H1, H2, H3, H4. And so they're all objects. And essentially, we're then like calling the styles from the text style. So obviously for H1, we're going to call the H1 text styles. And for H2, we're going to do the same. For H3 and H4, we're going to do the same. And for everything else. And I know that's like an added layer of abstraction, because we could just reference the text style in the actual component, right? Rather than setting up variants to then call the text style. But the reason I've done it, as I mentioned before, is because the color mode actually works on this. And I don't know like what it is. I don't know why it doesn't work on the other one, but it works on this. But I mean, I've got a feeling it's something to do with it being a component and text styles just being like a property essentially. But I'm not going to kind of make any kind of certain assumptions about that. I'm not sure, but it works, and that's all I know. So I'm kind of going to stick with that. So we still got a couple of things to bring over, and it will make more sense as I go through it. It probably doesn't make too much sense now, but what we'll do to kind of make this make sense is I'll demonstrate how I've done this. So if we go to body, this is our body text. So this is how our body text is going to look. And what's nice as well is that in this, if I get rid of this heading dot styles, if I get this text dot story, right? So we've got a label, and let's just can we write lorem in here? I don't actually know. No, we can't. Let me just say like hello. just doing some random stuff. Take up space. I don't know. Right. So I didn't really need to make it that long either to demonstrate this, but you know, it's fine. I've done it now. So okay, these are all of our text styles. It keeps sounding like I'm saying textiles, but it's text styles. I know. So what we can do here now. So obviously we're calling text style body, but as you can see, if I go back to our typography theme, and let's say I set this, so I did this before, but I'm gonna do it again. Let's say I set this to be that primary 500. Actually, seeing as we're on dark mode, let's just make it secondary 300, which is the default. So as you can see, okay, so this should be a teal color. If you go into our colors.js, you can see this is secondary 300. It should be this color here, but obviously it's not, right? So what's going on here? So as I mentioned, it doesn't work if we try and do it here. But what we can do, if I take that away, and if I get rid of this, so what's nice is that we can keep everything else. It's just that color mode, and we just get rid of a couple things here, and we'll get rid of those errors. Okay, so we're all good there. And then what we can do is you can come into index.js. I'm going to close that. We can come into not index.js, so we can go further up in the same file. So we're in the textiles object. Now we can come into the variants object now, and we can now pass in. So we can do the same thing that we were going to do before. We can say, oh boy, body. Nope, can't spell. Props, and then nope. I'm also very tired, so like, excuse my awful typing and stuff. And so there, then we can. Oh, I need to also pass in the text style, of course. Text style, and that's going to be text style of body. Okay, and now let's look. Lovely. So it doesn't change yet. Actually, hold on one moment. Kind of makes sense to me. I think the reason why, and this makes sense to me, I think the reason why things aren't working in here actually is because of our, what's it called? The difference in the theme, the thing I was mentioning before. So what we're going to do instead is this. I'm going to spin up our development server with the on dev. Okay, sure. Okay. And what we're going to do instead is we're going to test this. Okay, so I've just created this like basic stuff. This is just some stuff I was messing around with before. But let's go into our pages. So let's go into index.js. I really am tired. I'm struggling to find like my very easy to find pages folder. Okay, let's just mess with this pre-title thing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is let's go back and have a look at what we have on here, right? So let's look at what we expect. So now we can actually change things back around. Let me just copy that and paste that. Let me just dot 500. Okay, so let's like save that. So what we're going to expect is that when we toggle the color mode, the same thing's going to happen with the text color in this button. The same thing's going to happen with this pre-title, which is going to be called body text. Yeah, why not? So let's just call you body text. And what we're actually going to do, instead of having this text style define body, we're going to have variant, and we're going to have the variant as body. And now bearing in mind we have the correct, we obviously have Chakra's color mode set properly. Let's have a look. Have we saved everything? Why does this thing hate me? Okay, let's try. Oh no, my bad, my bad, guys. No, it should work in Storybook because I've just done something really stupid. Like I said, I'm very tired. I have put it on the wrong thing. That's awful. Right, we can just cut that. We can paste it. Do I need to? Yes, of course I do. I need to set up variants. Sorry, I forgot. It's a text style. So as you can see on here, we've got a text component, not heading. So I put it in the wrong place. So that's kind of good that that got caught. Okay, now if we save it, I can be almost certain that we're going to see that body text change color, which it doesn't. Well, I was almost certain. Okay, so let's see what else we've got to do, because I know there's probably something I'm missing. So let's so textile body, that's fine, I believe. Let's see if this at least changes, which I hope it will. Oh right, okay. Oh my bad. Are we looking at the wrong thing? Oh, hold on a minute. Did I put variant? It's very easy to like mess things up on here. There's a variance. It looks like... Yo, how's it going? So it's clean. Man, I appreciate that. Yeah, man, welcome. Yeah, this is how the portfolio project is going so far, building with Next.js. I'm just setting up some design tokens, having a tough time figuring out how to like work with the Chakra UI theme. I'm not sure if you know Chakra UI, but essentially what I'm trying to do here and what I've been running through in the past few videos is basically looking at how like you can customize the theme to like work with your own style guide. So I've got my own style guide which I set up in Figma here, so it's got all my colors and typography, the different like heading sizes. We've got a couple of other things as well, and then a few components as well. So we've got all these different variants, and I kind of just demoed this a bit earlier, but I can show it again. So we've got this nice variants feature where you can like basically really quickly look through these different button styles, primary, secondary states, hover states, disabled, and then we were just looking at taking this into our code, where we're going to be, so like I mentioned, we're using Chakra UI, but we're bringing this into Storybook to then actually like visually test these things. And so I don't know why this keeps defaulting to like dark mode, but as you can see, we've got the button now. So we've got a kind of similar thing going on where we can set small, medium, large. We can set the primary, secondary states, active and disabled states, things like that. Yeah, GraphQL. Yeah, I'm actually hoping to use GraphQL a bit in this project. I think was it last weekend? Yeah, I stayed up like I think all night just looking at some tutorials on. I basically just set up this really simple GraphQL API, like, and using the Apollo client. And I think the Apollo, is it Apollo server as well, just to set up like a GraphQL server, just to bring in some like data from I think it was the GitHub API. But yeah, man, I really like. Oh, Traverse Media. No, it was from. I think it was. Funnily enough, like I usually do. I'm usually more of a person for like videos, for like actually going through videos. But this one was a article, I think, on Smashing Magazine. I think it was. And I actually looked up an article as well on Next.js. I don't know if it was on Next.js's website. I think it was on the GraphQL website. But it was about working with Next.js. I think if I can find them, I'll share them here. Okay, no, it was on Apollo GraphQL's site. I can share some of those in the chat. Like, it was that one, and there was like another. But I'm just amazed at how kind of quick it is to like define your schema, and like just how you can actually get like that server just, you know, up and running, and then how, you know, simple it is to query things. And I really like the Refactoring. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's yeah, like they were really good tutorials, and it kind of just takes you step by step. So I'm hoping to get onto that at some later point, because there is some data that I'd like to kind of bring into this portfolio. But the idea right now is just setting up the theme, getting that out of the way, and then I can start building features. As just like a little preview for what we're going to be building after like the theme's all set up. This is kind of like, this isn't fully done yet, but this is essentially what the home screen might look like. I actually have like a bit of an interactive thing here. How long have I been doing it? I've been doing web development for, it's coming up to a year now actually. Yeah, I started around this time last year now, so it's coming around real quick. So yeah, and in that time I was spent the first few months just learning basics like HTML, CSS, you know, basic JavaScript, like ES5, and then got into ES6. Thought I was ready for React, wasn't ready for React. Spent a bit more time sort of getting familiar with ES6 closures and things like that, and then jumped into React. Nice. Have you found any work within the field? Not yet, but I am looking now. I am actively searching, and yeah, I mean, hopefully this project can help with that as well, because I'm hoping to touch on quite a few different technologies, and I'm just like, part of the reason I'm live coding is just to kind of visually document what I'm doing, and you know, I think it's kind of cool when like you can show someone what you know rather than, you know, just like list it on a CV. Of course, like that's fine as well, but you know, I want to kind of try and take it a step further. So that's part of the reason I'm kind of doing these, is to kind of like have a visual documentation. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, so you can check out my GitHub actually. Let me I should have some reply commands here somewhere. Right, let me yeah, I'll share my GitHub. And you can find like most of my projects on there. So let me, well, this is super zoomed in, I forgot about that. So let's yeah, nice. All right, that's me. Let me just quickly test this command. If I do it myself, let's see if that works. GitHub. Yeah. So you can check out some of my works and stuff there. That's it's. Let's have a look. What's on there? Yeah, GitHub jobs. So yeah, it's got version 1 of my portfolio, which is gregogun.netlify.app. So yeah, just for a bit of context, like I'm building, this is like the second version of my portfolio essentially that I'm building with Next.js. So this is version 1, which I built with Chakra UI as well. So it's, you know, comes with like light and dark mode, like really easy to implement. Just did that with a couple of lines of code actually, and to get the light and dark mode. And most of its like components and elements are like responsive to that light and dark mode, so you don't actually have to do much like changing things around. It's really nice like that. And yeah, it's just like it's a pretty like small kind of thing. There's not much going on here, but I did spend a while like, you know, like redesigning and rethinking the layout. I think I initially started with this like routing system using client-side routing, where I think I was using Reach Router or Reach Router, but I actually ended up going the kind of one-page route just because it kind of made more sense. There wasn't much content on there, so kind of felt a bit more intuitive to just have it all on one page. So yeah, like I said, there's not much, but it's just kind of to give like a general overview of my skills, a little bit about me, about like my most recent projects, and you know, it was something I was going to update, but I thought they should get into servers. Yeah, so yeah, I'm using, so on a lot of projects I think I use like Heroku and for servers, and Netlify for the front end. I'm obviously using Vercel for this Next.js one. Setting up your own Linux server, yeah, that would be interesting actually. That would be you know, like Linux it's been one of those things that I'm actually pretty curious about, and it would be cool to definitely learn it and jump into it. You know, you always hear things about these things like, oh my god, Linux, but for me, like, regardless of what people say, like whether it's, you know, people say it's you know, easy or really difficult, I'm just kind of always curious about the thing, and Linux is one of those things where I've kind of for a while now wanted to delve a bit more into it. Like recently for a project, actually, I created like a little smart mirror, which is just running on a Raspberry Pi. I'll be sharing that here at some point as well, so you know, feel free to subscribe or follow or whatever to kind of keep up with my little side projects like that. But I've actually got something that I built a couple months ago now, where I had to sort of learn a little, like just a couple of Linux commands. I think I can't remember what Raspberry Pi runs on, but yeah, I had to learn some stuff like that. But yeah, that would be interesting actually, setting up my own Linux server. I'll definitely have to look into that for sure, and yeah, I'll definitely consider and keep that in mind for sure. That's cool. But I mean, how about yourself? How long have you been coding, and what sort of stuff are you working on? Yeah, what sort of tech stack are you working with as well? That'd be cool to know for sure. Right, so let's but yeah, right now, like I'm really interested in like UX. Matty, okay. Oh man, it's nice to meet you. Right, is it Matty or Matty? Matty, I'm gonna guess. Full stack, okay, nice. Full stack, that's cool. Right, so oh, like Matai? That's cool. Yeah, what's your like stack? What kind of stack are you working with? Cool. So let me bring this back in a little bit. So body text. So yeah, we seem to be, I don't know if we're running into an issue or not. Let's have a look at what's going on here. Okay. Bring that back in a little bit. Cool. So heading, okay, so that's textile, body, did I get that right? Yeah, body. 9 height, font weight, that's fine. So this should be working actually. Let me just kind of get rid of these other things for a second. So what I'm trying to do right now is just set the variant of this button up. I'm just trying to set, these text styles to inherit specific color depending on light and dark mode. which they don't seem to be doing. It seems to be working though with this pre-title, this is what's really interesting to me. Let me just change that again. Yeah, it works with the pre-title. So I'm just trying to figure out what I've done wrong, and then I will. So variants. I feel like we've got a kind of similar thing going on here. Unless it's unless it's because I'm using, maybe it's something to do with naming. All right, let's just try this. Let's try body light, and we will do this. No, it's not that either. Oh, that's very interesting. Right, I'm not sure what's going down. Okay, well, these things happen, I suppose. What are we looking like for time? Okay, we've just gone over an hour now, so I'll keep going for a little bit, and then I'll probably start like rounding off. I'm just trying to like, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I didn't actually get rid of these. Okay, well, let's just try something then. So let's get rid of you. Let's get rid of that. Okay, now let's try it. Oh, I haven't set the thing to body light either. Okay, come on, work for me, work for me, work for me. Is it working? Can't tell. No, it's not working. Let's probably a good thing to do right now would be to look maybe at the Chakra text object. So usually a good place to look when you're trying to figure out like why some different props might not be showing up in an oh, I didn't change the music. Yeah, so sometimes it's because well, it's not because, but sometimes an easier way to sort of figure things out is to go into the docs and to actually look at some of the props here and see what props they are, and maybe some of the types as well if they've got them on there. And so I'm just looking. So variant, I'm using the right term. So we can use variants on text components. So yeah, why it's not working, I don't know. And I've kind of had this all day, like not all day because I've been at work all day, but like before I left for work, I was like battling with this. I've come back, I'm on here, and I'm still battling with this. But it's cool, like, you know, we're still making progress. It's just, you know, you get stuff like this every now and then, of course, where it's kind of, yeah, not the most straightforward thing. Cool. So right. Okay. So we didn't get too much help there. So let's just trying to figure out if there's anything else. If there's anything else. Oh, I've realized. I'm kicking myself right now. I'm literally kicking myself. This is silly. So, yeah. Don't forget to actually add things in, kids. Don't forget to actually add in the thing. Now if I hit save, there we go. Okay, now it's working. So that was just my bad. Okay, so you can see that body text is now changed to purple and it's changing to teal when it's dark. That's very significant because I thought we were going to be in for the long haul tonight trying to figure this out. Okay, so we're all good. We're all good. Yeah. No, literally, man, I do stuff like this all the time. I tell you, like, the amount of things that I've thought were bugs when they actually were just me forgetting to do like the simplest thing. And I know it's a common thing, but I feel like I do this so often. So we're actually getting somewhere, which is cool. So the idea is that we're creating these like text styles, and then we're using the variants on our text components to consume those text styles, which then allows us to set the color. And you're probably wondering, like, why are you doing it twice? So I did it on the text styles, but for some reason it doesn't actually. Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, go for it. But yeah, essentially, like, the color mode isn't picked up in these text styles. Oh, cool. Cool. Close that. Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah. Feel free to send it through. Oh, actually, okay, it blocks out the. Let me see if I can find a way to get you along there. Oh, okay, cool. Give me 1 sec. Let me see if I can unfilter it because it's coming up like filtered. I don't know if that's directly through Twitch, or I've got a feeling it's through Twitch. Discord. Yeah, I've actually I was in the process of setting one up for this channel actually, just to make things easier. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's a really good point, because I was halfway through it the other day, but just ended up getting just so bogged down by stuff that I forgot. So yeah, I've actually got one set up. Yeah, if you let me see how to add. Invite people. Okay, here we go. Cool. Yeah, if you send me through your Discord name, I can invite you now, and then yeah, feel free to send through some resources and stuff. Man, that would be great. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. That would be really helpful for me, because yeah, I am genuinely interested to looking at that, and hopefully at some point soon on here we can maybe look through that as well. Okay, so it's right. I'm just waiting for that to search and find you. So sorry, my lighting's kind of all over the place right now. I still need to get my what they call it, LEDs. Right, I'll leave that to search. But yeah, okay, so those textiles are all set up, so they're all good now. So we can go ahead and create like the rest. So I'm basically just so yeah, that's fine. Okay. And what else do we have down here? Body light. Okay, we've got small as well. Okay, that's probably the last one. Okay, cool. And we don't need to. Yeah, that's fine. We can just leave that like that, so we don't need the props. Cool. Yeah, we don't need props. We can get rid of you. Oh, got rid of my bracket. So let's make these neutral 700. So yeah, this is just some like visual hierarchy stuff, just create a bit more differentiation between the heading and text as well. So I'm just going to set these, and hopefully the contrast is enough even with the light font weight, so that should be alright. But yeah, that should work out for us, I think. So what I can do now, going back into Storybook, which is pretty cool, I'm going to go into these files as well. I just want to make sure that I've got everything in there. So I can go into my components, my stories, and we'll check the heading stories first. Yeah, so instead of text style, we actually changed these, all of these now, we can change to variants, and then we'll get the expected thing. For these would probably stay the same, I think. Is it variants or variant? No, it's variant. Cool, so that should probably stay the same. Yeah, that stays the same, that's all good. And for our text, it's going to be a very minor difference. And let me just check this. Oh, that's cool. It's your daily job. Okay, cool. And how long have you been like using Linux for? Just out of interest. Still not finding? Okay, it's not finding. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's nice, man. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward actually to like kind of getting into it and yeah, like definitely to get going with the basics at least, and hopefully build up from there. Yeah, no, I've set one up now, so that's kind of all running. I'm just struggling how to invite people here. Okay, so we've got channels and stuff. Okay, cool. My bad. Okay. Yeah, do you know how to invite people on here? It's like I use it, but not like often enough, or I don't think I've actually ever set up a server before, so that's like a first for me as well. Let's have a look. So yeah, let's get back to our stories quickly actually. So if I go left click, okay, cool. Invite people, cool. Or can I send like a link? Ah, okay, yes. Sure. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so let me send that through there. Right, so that's the link there. So yeah, okay, nice one. Cool, we just landed. That's awesome. Cool. Yep, see your messages coming through, man. Yo. Okay, cool. So if I go now to these, yeah, we should see these text styles now working, and we should hopefully, actually I need to change, so all of these text styles I need to change to variants, and then things will be definitely working properly. So if I put variant here instead, yeah, as you can see, like we've got that slight change in the color now, which is real nice. So I need to do the same for pre-title as well, actually, because I don't think I did it for that. Pre-titles on heading, is it not a global style? Yeah, that's a global style, so I need to, all right, let's get that in here. Okay, that should work better. Yeah, there we go. Cool, so they're all set up now, and that's and we can like test this as well, so we can use our accessibility plugin to test that it's passing. So color contrast is all good, that passes. We can check the light mode as well. Nope, not for that one, we can't. Yeah, we really need to get a like Chakra UI. Oh, okay, here's the docs, cool. Oh man, I appreciate this, thank you. Let me drag this over to my other window. Yeah, I'll definitely check this out, and yeah, I'll let you know what I think. Nice one. Nice one, nice one. Okay, cool, man. Thanks. We'll check it out for sure. Right, so we're all good with all this stuff. So what I'm going to do now, I need to start like committing some stuff. So, and then I'm going to start splitting out the branches. Stream schedule. So like I haven't established like a consistent one just because of work. Like work's because I'm working in retail right now, so it's pretty hectic as it always is. But right now we've just opened like a new store, so my kind of like working hours are kind of all over the place. So it's kind of hard for me to set a stream schedule right now. But what I'm doing, I'm just essentially like, because what this whole thing is, this is kind of like my own little project of like live streaming, me building my portfolio with Next.js. So I'm trying to go live as often as I can. I think I've sort of been live like the past 3 days now, so I'll try and do like some point every day, if not every other day. And usually for me, most of the time it's usually around this time. I'm not sure if are you based in the US, because I'm in the UK, if you can tell already. And so I'm usually on like around 8 p.m, 9 p.m. onwards, and then if I'm not on at that time, sometimes I'll be on a bit earlier in the day, so like maybe 10 to 12 like UK time, but usually it's more towards like 9 p.m. UK time. Usually works for me, and sometimes like 4 to 5 on weekends. Oh, you're in Norway? Okay, awesome, man. Oh, times are the same. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so I'm hoping like once things calm down at work a bit, maybe after next week or so, then I'll actually be able to establish like a better stream schedule. So hopefully that can work out a bit better for me. But for now, it's kind of, I'm just trying to do it as often as I can, because I'm really trying to build this out like a bit quicker as well. Like my first few streams were quite slow. Like I was just trying to get a sense of like getting stuff set up and how things were going to work, and now I've got a bit more of an idea. I can kind of push forward a bit quicker. So yeah, like what's the like what's your like stack, by the way? Oh man, I appreciate that, thank you. Yeah, I mean these ones are definitely going a bit smoother than the first ones were. Like the first ones were kind of like almost 3 hours long, and it didn't have much structure to it. I mean like this still doesn't, but you know, I'm sort of working with code now, so it's a bit more streamlined. Before it was just I was trying to like explain the project, and I had all these files everywhere. So but now yeah, I'm just essentially figuring out. This is all theme stuff, so this is all theme. So I'm gonna do with all of these. It's actually kind of crazy. Like I haven't worked with this until recently. Like I'd always seen this like Git integration in VS Code, but I never really actually worked with it. So and I don't know if you know about conventional commits, but I just kind of like the idea of it. Front end. Oh, nice. Really sure. Yeah, how do you find Django? Because yeah, there's a couple of people I know that are also using Django. That's a Python framework, right? But yeah, yeah, there's definitely some interest there. Like I am just generally interested in learning Python. Like I started taking. I mean, when I say started, I think this was like maybe I watched the first lesson or two. I started taking a Nina Zakarenko course, if you know her, like if you know Front End Masters. I've got a subscription to them, so I often kind of dip in and out of courses, and sometimes try and stay to the end. But yeah, my attention span is awful though, so I kind of find it hard to stick with things sometimes. But yeah, her course seemed quite cool. Yeah, Django, that sounds cool. But yeah, I'm using some conventional commits right now just to give a bit of context to what I'm committing. So yeah, theme, I've just put that down to be intro. Express, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Express, yeah, man. Yeah, I've kind of got a little bit of experience using Express, just spinning up simple servers. Just like I took a course as well. I think it was Scott Moss on Front End Masters, like about API design and like working with Express and the Express router and root verbs and all that kind of stuff. It was really, really interesting, and that kind of gave me a much better idea of how well, I mean, I suppose as far as REST infrastructure goes, yeah, it gave me a much better idea of how that works. And I built a few small things, like yeah, that smart mirror thing I was talking about. That was kind of just composed of different a few different controllers that were essentially calling data from various sources, because it was basically like I built it for my mum, and she had a few different things that she wanted, like integrated, like a calendar and a couple of other things. Oh, really? Okay. What are you building for it? Like, what's the project? If you're able to disclose that. So let's have a look. So what I'm doing. So we're refactoring here. Yeah. So refactor. To theme. Into separate concerns. To separate concern. Oh, did I go? I went 2 carries over the 50 limit. So it tells you that as well. Just stuff based on good commit. Like best practices. I think I went 2 characters over, but that's not much of a big deal to me. For me, anyway. I'm not going to commit that yet. We can do that now. Buttons. What did I change in here? Oh, okay. I haven't actually committed this yet. Cool. So I'm gonna. So I'm gonna do one at a time. Actually, make more sense. I think I'll just put all Storybook stuff under style, maybe. Yeah. I'll just stay with that. Keep it consistent. Yeah, man. Projects where you have so little time, man, they're tough. They're tough for sure. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So what are we doing here? Yeah, I suppose we'll just we'll keep it as a style thing. Okay, so right, button story. Yeah, think that's simple enough. This you can just bundle into one commit essentially, which I will have as style and write stories for text styles. Okay, so there's a committed as well, and this is, I deleted this. Yeah, that's cool. What did I do? Did I just move the... Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Oh damn, I meant to put refactor as the thing. That's cool. Initially. Yeah, that's the tough thing, right, with working with third-party APIs, I suppose. Like, I was... it's kind of a funny story, actually. I don't know if you've heard of Chingu, the platform for, like, essentially working on, like, collaborative projects with, like, agile methodologies, right? So you work with people for about, I think you work in teams of around 4 to 5. I think most of the teams I've had have been 4 to 5 people, and you obviously work on something to build over 6 weeks. But before the very first kind of, they call them voyages, the 6 weeks, the 6-week projects. And before you do one, you have to, like, only for the very first project, you have to do like a little solo project so that they kind of know that you're going to be able to, like, commit to it for 6 weeks and not just kind of drop off. And so for my very first one, I did this solo project, which was using the GitHub Jobs API. And man, I tell you, like, this was, I think, a day or two before the deadline. Man, there was an internal server error. Like, I think it was a 501, and at first I thought, okay, is there something I'm doing wrong here with the way I'm calling this? And then I had a look at some, like, issues, and then I saw, yeah, people were putting stuff in like, damn, the server's down. And yeah, man, like, I luckily, like, I got an extension on that. Like, they were really like super understanding about it, but like a day or two before, man, and it took, I think, at least a day, if not longer, for them to fix that. So yeah, like, it's tough to know when. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you don't mind kind of sharing, what's the yeah, it'd be great to find out kind of what the project is, or like what you're yes, essentially building. So okay, what am I doing now? So yeah, we're just wanting to what do we put this down as? I'll just put this down as, I don't know, chore. It's not really refactoring. I'll just put it down as a chore. It's cool. Remove. Go to files. Yep. I'll just say remove. Button. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Cool. Okay. Now, the reason I haven't committed this yet is because I still want to do something with it. So, just before we do this, and then I'll start splitting off my branches and stuff like that. So, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna change back to dark mode so we can actually see our text. I need to figure out what's going on with the theme as well. But like I said, I think it's a Storybook and Chakra integration issue. Yeah, I think I can figure that out like another time. I think we're probably like near to 2 hours actually now, right? Yeah, not far off, but that's cool. So let's just do some stuff. the index, and then we can. Cool. So I'm gonna actually just switch over to here and get rid of all this basically. So cool. So what I'm gonna do is just create like a center component. I don't actually need to do that, do I? I know I do. So we can create this center component, and then this is just like a display grid, like place item center kind of thing. So it will place this directly in the center, and we can just say like, you know, this site is under construction. Can't spell. Okay, this site is under construction. Oh no, what am I doing actually? That's not good. Need to do heading first. And what we want to do here is, I'm going to get rid of this. No, not that. I always forget my shortcuts. Is that not the shortcut? That's definitely not what we wanted. Nope. My terminal like doesn't want to close for some reason. It's like kind of refusing. But then like, I bet you any money I've forgotten how to actually I always like forget these things really randomly. I've just literally forgotten the. But I feel like I'm using the right. Okay, I'm gonna cheat. Just because I never remember. Oh, okay, so obvious. Okay. Yeah, I know. I don't want to kill it. I just want to hide it. But like I thought it was control comma to like hide it from your view. No, not yeah. Close probably wasn't the right word. I shouldn't have said close. Control J. Oh, that's a. Oh, right. Okay. Here it says Control J. Is that oh, okay, it's Control J. Man, then it's been a long time since I used that then. In that case. It's been a while. Damn. Let's just save this up quickly. So I'm just gonna have just a little boilerplate. So what's nice now is that we can come and test the styles that we set up. So I can put variant H1 and it's gonna resize to the H1, or if I want to put H2. And what's like, well, what I was gonna do before was I'm still kind of messing with the idea of maybe, so like in Chakra UI you've got the as prop, and the as prop basically, like if I go in the inspector here and we inspect this element, we go into it, you can see here, I don't know if you can see that on there, but that's just H2, right? So that's just like the default thing. But you've got like an as prop in Chakra UI where you can make it H1, and I'm still toying with this idea of whether I'd want to actually, well, I mean, I suppose actually for like H1 you would want the as prop to be H1. So if I save that now, actually, but no, I also realize it doesn't work unless it's on the actual element for some reason. I don't know why that happens. I don't know why that happens actually. So the as prop actually just has to be here. Kind of forces you to think about it, I suppose, which is probably better. So now if we see in here, now it says H1 now. That's just how you can quickly just change things to be semantic. And obviously you want the variant to be h1 there. Cool. And you can probably, let's create like a, I was going to create a little nav, but no, I can't bother to do that. So it is currently under construction, and maybe we just have like some text or something. Watch me, I don't know, some text that says like watch me put it live. Right, and then we can have like some kind of link. Have we already got a link in there? Yes, we have. So a link, which is essentially just an A tag. So I'll just say like Twitch, or and then another link. And what we can do, which is nice, is just style these how we like. So obviously I need the href to my Twitch, which I probably have somewhere. Okay, let me just quickly grab that. And let's, and you can also put this prop, which is like is external, which basically just does like the whole like no. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'd be awesome to do some collab projects. Yeah, I'm always up for that. You know, I think it's a good way to learn as well, to like work with other people, see how other people code and like approach like problem solving and stuff like that. So yeah, for sure. Send it through and I'll check that out, and yeah, you can even do something on here at some point, hopefully. That would be pretty cool. So, but yeah, I'm just going to kind of get this done, and then I think I'm going to start rounding off on this, and yeah, I should be back some point tomorrow. Yeah, finishing work earlier, which is always a nice thing. So I should be on, if not in like late afternoon, around 5 p.m, then probably like maybe 8 or 9 p.m. But yeah, I should be around tomorrow for sure. So let's yeah, I think the kind of aim for tomorrow is to yeah, get those button styles set up essentially. Yeah, man, thanks so much for joining. And yeah, we'll catch you tomorrow. Yeah, I should be on around a similar time. But if you know, I'll send you my Twitter in the Discord. I usually update on Twitter, so you can find out some more info there, man. But yeah, thanks again for joining, and yeah, take it easy, and hopefully catch you tomorrow. Cool. Okay, so this. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah. I'll update on Discord. Yeah. I'm hoping to do a bit more setup around it, and just actually have it as like a something linked to this. Yeah. So that I can I'll set up like a little resources channel as well. So feel free to share any resources that you come across and stuff as well. So yeah, I'll be working on that. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get some time and set that up. But yeah, I'll update on there then if that's easier. For sure. So we've got. So let me put this BG around this, like red 200. Oh, okay, so it's got some kind of like. Oh, okay, everything inside it gets centered. That's fine. What we need then we need to wrap something around this. We need to wrap like a box. Oh, my bad. I keep forgetting this. Need to emit, wrap with abbreviation. We need to wrap a box around it. Do we have a box? Yes, we do. Now, if I save it, I would say things should be okay. I don't know why that's there. Cool. And let's save that up. Okay, what's the issue? Yeah, I don't know why that ended up there. That looks much better. No? Oh no, yeah, that's my bad. No, that should not be there. That should be there. Okay, that's what we're looking for. And we want to center. I think we can actually just probably text align center it like this. Text align center at this point, and that should just take care of everything under it, which it does. You can get rid of this background now. And what I can do is just change the color to make it a bit more interesting. So what I can do here is I can do color equals and let's say color equals, say purple 500 for now. Is that too dark? Yes, it is. I don't know, we'll go for 200. 300 should do, and I'm just going to copy and paste that. So we've got a couple eyes in the stream. Hey guys, whoever's in, feel free to say hey. I'm just finishing up on a bit of work for this portfolio project right now. Okay, so now we can just add. Actually, what I can do instead, so this is what I really like about Chakra, is that it offers you like a lot of options to actually get different things like different flex properties. So instead of this box here, like I want a bit of space in between these two elements right here. Right, so what I can actually do instead of using this box, because then I'd have to like do stuff with margins that I don't really want to get into, I can actually use a V-stack, I think. So I can use a V-stack here, right? And it's gonna, and if you watch this, it's gonna automatically space things out. So you can see that little space there. But we can go a bit further with that. So we've got this spacing prop, and we can just keep adding things to it. So this leverages Chakra's spacing system. So you can go like from one. Why is it hating me? Spacing. Was it spacer? Like, I'm sure it's spacing, or is it like this? Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, so you have to use a string. It only takes in a string. But like, you can see, we can just walk it up like this. You can see it's kind of like, and we can go kind of as far as we want with this. But I think 4 was cool. But yeah, what's nice about the text styles, like the variants that we set up earlier, is that now we can come into this text component now, and we can kind of switch this up to like look however we want it to look, essentially. So, and like I said before, I believe whatever props you add at this top level will override what we've put beforehand. So we can set this to like body, to our body text. So as you can see, it just kind of, the text dimmed a bit there. We set it to body light, which should hopefully, oh, I haven't brought in a, so I won't get into this today, but we're using font source, which is like, I've only seen this recently on Chakra's site, and I think this is quite a recent implementation, but it's essentially a more performant way to bring in fonts, I believe. So I believe it's a monorepo where you can, it's kind of, it has access to, I think, all of the Google fonts, and yeah, I do need to do more reading into it, but I know it's a better alternative than to how I was working with them in Next.js before, where I actually was accessing the fonts from a public folder and then bringing them into the theme that way. This way is a bit more performant. think that works. I think that worked. I don't know. Maybe it's my eyes playing tricks on me. No, it did work. Yeah, so it did go lighter, which is nice. But we don't actually want that. I was just kind of testing that out. So if I change the variant now, like I can change the variant to something like pre-title, and we're gonna get like all caps because oh no, okay, so we don't get all caps, but we do take the bold thing from it. That's pretty cool though. I quite like that. Well, I'm kind of cool with how this looks. Oops, my bad. No, I might just keep on that for now. Let's have a look at. I kind of feel like we have to bring in the logo though. I feel like that just has to be done, right? This is the thing. This is where I started thinking about like how I'm going to structure things, because I usually like to kind of have a bit more time, but I'm just thinking of how I'm going to structure my assets folder. Essentially, it would make sense for them to be in the components. Might change, but for now, like, I'm cool with this. So let me. Let's create a new file called logo.js, and I'm gonna go and grab my logo and bring it over to my other screen, and let's find this assets. Cool. Okay, so that's my logo. Nice one. And there's actually a way that we can. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this, because there's a way that you can obviously turn your icons into React components. There's also actually a way that you can create icons with a create icon function in Chakra UI, which is, I think, how I did it in my last project. We can take a look at that maybe. Can perhaps take a look. Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning. Obviously tired. Just gonna search create icon because I cannot remember for the life of me. I feel like it was like under guides or something, but probably wrong there. Let me just quickly open it over here. Ah, creating custom icons, okay. Yeah, so what we can do here is I can get rid of like this now, and I need to keep that. But what I can do is I can do export const logo equals, oh, we need to import something. So we need to import something from. We need to install. Oh no, I believe actually I've already installed this. Yes, I have. Good thing I have as well. Okay, so we need to take this create icon function from the Chakra UI /icons library, and we can now use that to create an icon from our SVG. I quite like this way of doing things as well. I quite like using this too. So we need a display name, which we're just going to call the logo. Keep the name the same, keep it simple. Make sure I'm checking messages and stuff. So we've got a view box as well. And then we can just start taking some info from here. Just split this up real quick. View box, nice one. And then we can take the path info. Right, so I can never remember where the style stuff goes. We'll figure it out. So instead of path, let's try text. Will it take it though? No. Oh, class, yeah, you can't be in there. Okay. I've got a feeling I don't really need all of these. Well, I don't know. I'm going to turn them off for now. Let's see. Is this where we can add like our fill and stuff like that? Yeah. What I'm going to actually have the fill as is. Do we have the current color? I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if this is how we if we pass it in like this. Let's have a look. Sorry, my voice is going so croaky because I'm so tired. So font family will be FabFelt script. Oh dear, what have I done? And font size, oh, that's massive. I think we'll leave the font size for now. I think we can pass default props to it, but my understanding is that we have to bring in default props from. No, I think I'm largely guessing. I think the best solution here is to look at a past project. Oh, okay. I'm finally mastering the art of turning my volume down in time. Before I start coughing and shit. Right, so I'm just gonna quickly take a look at that past project. Let's see what I did here for it. So everything's kind of a mess here, but it's all good, I think. So I did things much differently. Custom. Oh, okay. So here I had. Oh, wow. So here I had a. Is that my? It's interesting, isn't it? This is why I didn't want to bother. This is why I didn't want to bother going for this. 'Cause I'm lazy, but also because no, I'm just lazy. I didn't want to have to like deal with looking into stuff and figuring out things. It's like, what did I do here? I don't even know how. I might do the same thing here. Let me just kind of do the same. There's a bunch of things I don't need, but it's like there's a bunch of things that I also kind of do need. So I'm gonna go wild, and I don't know how this is my logo, but it is. So I don't need any of this stuff. We're not working with Framer just yet. Don't need the color switcher, don't need children. I don't even need to import React from React. Do not need motion. Just concerned with these three. Okay, motion path. Okay. Hopefully that should be alright. Oh, my bad. I think this is gonna be correct. Where does that go? Okay. We good? Yes. We don't need that. No, we kind of do though. Oh damn, yeah, no, we do. But we don't have this. Okay, so use color switcher. That was like a little custom hook that I created that I will definitely recreate. It was very helpful just to get two colors working together. That was definitely one of the better things I did with that project. So what are we on? 2 hours now? Oh yeah. Right, we're gonna round off. So let's figure out how we can. So color light, color dark. Don't want to recreate that hook. Yes, I do. That was a good hook. It was a good hook. Let me go into my utils, hooks, use color switcher. Right, look, no shame here. I'm gonna literally copy this. So I'm gonna create a utils folder, not a new file. Utils. And in here we're gonna have some hooks. And inside the hooks, I put functions in there, but it's all good. I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm not gonna bother with the index.js thingies yet. Use color mode. Use color mode switcher.js. Did I actually name it that before? Oh my god, I'm a crazy guy. That's not that big. It's not that crazy a name. It's not massive, is it? Okay. I'm gonna make this a named export. I don't know why. I'm just kind of feeling like using. If I can spell, that'd be great. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's actually. I've even got some hover. Some hover. Secondary 300. Okay, so that's secondary. I'm going to say themed. Oh, themed. Right, so we need some. Okay, so this hover. Should probably do this later. Let's leave the hover colors for now. It's probably gonna it's gonna do its thing. I know we're all good. Okay, so that's all set up now. Let's try and get that import. No. So what I want to do now is try. I don't even know if this is the right logo, by the way. I don't know if it. I don't really know if it is. But at least we can test it works on something, I suppose. So okay, see ya. Is this my old one? Yeah. And let's put this, let's just for now, for a moment. But actually, come on, logo. Oh, did I do it the wrong? Oh, I did it the wrong way around. Don't actually know, to be honest. Maybe I didn't. Not really having it, is it? Oh wait, is it because of? I'm not actually sure what that component is. Anyways, we should definitely wrap up. I always do this. I stall for ages. I'm like, we should wrap up, and then like 3 hours later, I'm like, yeah, I should have wrapped up. So the issue that we were having, it seems to be. But I'm gonna guess this is my logo though. Like, I'm just kind of curious as to. Did I use that? Did I use it? I would have used it in my nav bar. Yeah. How did I use or consume it here? Ah, I've got an idea. Icon as logo. Nice. Right, so again, I'm cheating, and I'm completely fine with that. So I hope you are too, everyone. Right, okay, so firstly, yes, we need to import that. Just need to do that. Oh, okay, so you're still not happy with me. Where did that come from? No, that's not what I want. Yeah, this sometimes does this with these like auto chakra icons. Like, again, that's not what I want. Anyway, you just add it in manually. I'm not after it from layout. I'm after it from React. That's so strange. I find that strange. I don't want that. Okay, so we've got the logo. Like, we've got the logo coming in. I suppose we haven't got the Okay, let's just change the stroke color to something like manually. Let's just make it default. Oh, who's going to pick up light? I think it was going to pick up automatically there. No, nothing. Let's put it full screen. Okay. Okay, this thing hates me. We can check if it's like actually rendering. Should be like above this element. As you can see, it's like not actually coming through. It seems to be registering, but just make it something outrageous. Okay, that's cool. Not to worry. We can figure that out next time. But made some decent progress today, so here's where we at. Next time, or between now and tomorrow's stream, I will maybe work on just adding in a little nice font to this or something. But I mean, I'm pretty cool with where this is at right now, to be honest. And I'm glad we managed to sort out the text style, so those are all kind of sorted. And the button styles, obviously we need to split those up into their own separate states and variants and all of that stuff, as well as also, you know, adding in the inputs at some point sooner rather than later. But I think next time we'll be yeah, like I said, potentially just add in a few more little bits to that page. That's not a priority though. I think we'll be looking more into setting up the repo in terms of, we've obviously set up the repo already, but branches on the repo, look at our branching structure, and also to look a bit more into Storybook in terms of its testing capabilities, and look a bit more about actually potentially writing some tests and starting to maybe look at some mock-ups, maybe do a little bit of designing, and look at building our first page, which will be our homepage. So it's getting closer and closer to actually like getting off the ground. I feel like we're still in like the pre-build phase ish. We're like getting into it now. We set up the theme and stuff, so you know, it's all exciting and stuff. But you can click these, and it will take you to my Twitch or my YouTube channel. So that's where we're at right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and push this up to production, and we essentially, well, actually no, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to wait until we fix this icon issue, and then we'll make our push up to there. And then once that's pushed, then that's when we'll start with our new repo structure, where we'll have like the master or main branch, we'll have the development branch sitting below it, and then of course we'll have all the rest of the feature branches that are to be created. But yeah, that's essentially the next steps. And so yeah, today we have looked at and tackled a few problems surrounding our Chakra theme, and getting these styles into Storybook and being able to sort of view them interactively, which is really cool. And we've also recapped over the button styles as well, which I will have to turn this to light mode to view. And we looked at a couple of add-ons, for example, accessibility, and yeah, quite productive. And so tomorrow I've already outlined what we're going to be looking at. So yeah, same sort of time. I'm going to aim for around 8 p.m. Hopefully, I think I'll try and get it a little bit shorter if it's gone a bit over time. I was aiming for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, but it's cool. Always cool to run over. We've done quite a bit, so awesome stuff. Well, for everyone that has watched and everyone who watched, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.